that means it's time to welcome to the show Austin Price of Volquest.com. He joins us every week thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Austin, thank you for the time as always. Just a couple of days ago, Tennessee picked up a commitment from wide receiver J.J. Harrell. Some are wondering, is he the next Josh and Swain for Tennessee football?
Stop.
What can you tell us about the newest addition, a four-star prospect out of the state of Mississippi?
Long, can run, Josh, and really good player. And when you factor in where Tennessee's kind of at with some of the other receivers in the class of 2024, it's a great start. They're in a good spot with Ryan Wingo. That'll be a dogfight. They're in a great spot with Mike Matthews, another dogfight. I think they're doing a nice job with Amari Jefferson of late, the young kid out of Baylor. So, really nice start. A kid that can really run, good route runner, and a very impressive kid after having talked to him the other day, just about more than just recruiting, just kind of talking more big picture stuff. Seems like a really good kid.
Seemed like he threw a lot of people off guard there with his announcement. Was that a thing that he just wanted to kind of preserve his moment, or did he just not set a commitment date and just decided to do it? What kind of went into him committing at that moment? Usually we get a little bit of a notice of when these guys make a decision. Any insight you can share there?
Well, he just, didn't publicize, hey, eyeball emoji, 2:00, tweet out, like everybody else does. I mean, listen, it caught me off guard. Not that he was picking Tennessee, because I thought Tennessee was the leader. But, after he visited here in January, I thought he was close. But then Alabama pushed hard, and Alabama offered, and the kid openly said, Alabama, my mom told me, no, Alabama's offered, I need to take my time, blah, 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 blah. And so I just kind of, okay, move, Tennessee's a good spot. It's not going to go down as quick, and, again, like, I enjoy those. I love that it came out of left field. But at the same time, like, I like that kids get their moments. And so I thought it was great, and, I'm all for it.
We're talking to Austin Price, Volquest.com. You ran through a couple of very highly touted wide receivers that Tennessee is also pursuing. You've also told us here over the last few weeks that watch for March and April. They're going to be active months for Tennessee. I've seen a number of highly touted guys say, I'm going to try to get to Knoxville here in the next couple of months. What's coming up? What is Tennessee planning to try to get as many talented prospects as they can in Knoxville?
Well, I have a junior day Saturday. And then you just have a bunch of kids coming in over the next month for spring practice. Amari Jefferson, I just talked about him. He'll be in town for spring practice. Tennessee plans on having Jake Merklinger, four-star quarterback from down in Savannah, Georgia. He'll be here later in the month for spring practice. I think you'll see a lot of kids here. There'll be some 24s, a lot of 25s here this weekend for junior day. But as far as like the 24s, a lot of those kids will come in to see Tennessee go through spring practice, to watch them go through a meeting, all that stuff over the next, month and a half, especially once Tennessee gets cranked up on March 20th. So, I just think you end up seeing, I don't know how many, I don't want to set an over-under at commits in March because it's too early and it's too undetermined at this point. But at the same time, I still think March and April are going to be really positive months for Tennessee.
Which player going to the combine has the most to gain in your eyes?
Darnell Wright. To me, I know he could be potentially Tennessee's first pick, but I just think that the more he interviews and the more people get to talk to Darnell. See, that's the thing. All the NFL teams are kind of like he never did interviews. I mean, I did Vol Club Confidential with him and Cooper. That's something NFL teams watch. Because, he never really did interviews during the season. So, they're trying to get a feel for who this kid is. You got Will Anderson out there bragging on him today. He obviously had a great week at the Senior Bowl, had a great senior year, and really has a great junior year as well. But I just think the more he talks to people, I think he'll test well. I think he's got a lot to gain and solidify at the combine. But you could also equally say Jalen Hyatt, because Jalen Hyatt's 4.29. 4-3-1, it's going to, open up a lot of possibilities for him as well.
Austin Price, Volquest, is with us thanks to Rick Terry Jordan Design. So you saw those comments Will Anderson made. Will Anderson, Alabama's elite pass rusher, projected top 3 to 5 pick in the NFL draft, maybe number 1, saying Darnell Wright is the best tackle he faced this season. Really praised the way that Darnell had improved during his time at Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's somebody that Will Anderson struggled against. And so Will Anderson's a very, I think he, real recognizes real type kind of guy. Like, Will Anderson's a stud. And the fact that he had some problems going up against Darnell, I think that's something that, he wanted to acknowledge and give him his props. And so, again, I think the more you see stuff like that happen, the more it just helps Darnell's case to keep sliding up draft boards and well into that first round. And so, I just think he's going to test super well. And, again, Darnell against B.J. Ojolari, Darnell against Clemson's D-line, Darnell against Georgia's D-line, Darnell against Will Anderson and Dallas. I mean, he had a phenomenal 2-year run on the left side and the right side.
Austin, the people love nuggets. Any nuggets coming out of winter workouts, either newcomers or guys that are playing bigger roles? How workouts have gone, guys that are going to have a chance to step up when spring practice begins here soon?
I do think that, getting Robert Ayers to campus was big for a guy like James Pierce. When Robert first got to Tennessee, probably a little immature, kind of bought into what Dan Brooks was selling and ends up being a first-round pick. James Pierce gets to campus, probably a little immature. I think having a kind of a mentor who comes from a similar area, played the similar position, and, ended up being a first-round pick and playing nearly a decade in the league, I think that's a nice feather in your hat for Rodney Garner, for Josh Heupel. And so I think that James Pierce has kind of hit winter workouts, reinvigorated, refocused. Again, still a lot of maturing left to do, but I think he is one that has drawn some praise. Caleb Herring has put on 21 pounds since he got here. He was 206 when he arrived. He's now 227. All those are good signs because Tennessee, needs I think I'm not sure that the offense can be as good as it was last year. I mean, it was just record-setting, right? I mean, I get everybody thinks it can. But I think where Tennessee takes the real step as a program is on defense, because I think some of those younger kids step up, and if they do that, then I think they have a real chance to take a huge leap because I think the talent will be better.
Earlier this week, we got word about some of the show cause penalties for some of the Tennessee former assistant coaches. Still no resolution for Tennessee as an institution. That door is still open in case it has not been closed. What do you think the NCAA is wanting from Tennessee before this thing is truly closed? I mean, Pruitt hasn't been here for a couple of years now, and Heupel's going into his 3rd season.
Well, that's a great question. Tennessee's the first school in history to just say, hey, we're guilty. Here's all the evidence against us, And, if you're the NCAA, you're still trying to show you have some teeth, but you also can't, if a school actually does right by you, you should probably try to do right by them. Now, I think what the NCAA is wanting here is probably wanting a few more scholarships given, a little bit more recruiting restrictions given, that type of thing. Like, nobody's talking about bowl bans or any of that stuff. I think what you're looking at here is you're wanting to see Tennessee give a little something. All right, like the first year, Tennessee gave, I think, 12 scholarships. They were like 12 scholarships down.
Mm-hmm.
So you give 12 scholarships. Well, you weren't really going to be able to fill those. So, you gave a nice chunk, but did you really give anything? You didn't really give anything up.
Yeah, it's kind of like spanking yourself.
You did give up stuff, but, it's not like you could have filled those spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at what cost? Yeah.
So I think that what you're talking about here is semantics of like, what's the number? Has the NCAA ever just? I mean, I think the biggest thing, in talking to people, is, I think Tennessee would love to have the NCAA say, okay, here's kind of where we need to get to, right? Like, there's all this, here's an offer, reject. What do you think about this? No. Like, okay, just tell us where we need to get to. Like, I think that's the biggest, piece in all this. So, again, I think right now it's just as simple as, coming to a point where the NCAA feels comfortable with what Tennessee has offered. And for whatever reason, they've not been able to get to that point yet.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. It is a busy time right now. Basketball season, baseball has started up, football spring practice right around the corner, and recruiting never stops. Austin and his colleagues there have you covered, and every week he joins us on Josh and Swain. Josh and Swain is our names. Thanks to Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. We make it unique, making it special, making it just for you there, Rick Terry Jewelry Designs. Want to be your jeweler. Rick Terry Jewelry Designs bring us Austin Price every week. Austin, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.